requested video on the channel. I've done a couple of them before because they always are quite highly requested. And it's one of my favourite triggers, and that's going to be, I've just got to reach down and get them because they're not proper hype controller triggers. I've got two controllers here for you. I've got my Xbox controller, and I think this may be my favourite new triggers controller for sounds, and that is the 8-bit Do. I think Ultimate 2C. I did buy it to use with my Switch, which I also no longer have, but also it didn't connect to my Switch because I bought the wrong one. So it's just going to be used for triggers right now. But we'll get onto that one last. As you can see, it matches nicely in the background. It's a nice sort of lilac-y purple controller. But if I just put this back down for now, and we're going to start with the Xbox controller. I've actually kept my nails a little bit longer today just so I can give you some tapping, because sometimes my nails get too short and I'm not able to tap on anything because all it is a finger, just, which is still but nice bright white controller. As you can see, I've lost the back for it, but I always have it plugged in anyway, so. My favourite thing about these controllers, they've always got really nice textures on them that gives you different sounds. And we're slowly going to work our way around the controllers. So we're going to split it up into A, B, Y, X buttons. Analog sticks, or joysticks, or whatever you call them. I've always called them analog sticks from the days of playing PlayStation, like 1 and 2 back in the day, but the analog sticks, joysticks, the D-pad. Probably one of my favourite noises on the controller, the Xbox controller, is the D-pad. Then that leaves us with the 4 buttons, the screenshot button, the pause, the menu, and the X button, which is like the home button on the Xbox. And then finally the triggers. And I think we're going to start with the triggers for you today and work our way into the controller. So really good. Just about how soft these sound. pressing them, and I do enjoy how clicky the bumpers are. I always try and do an assortment of triggers because I'm not someone, I do enjoy like fast and aggressive ASMR, but I also do enjoy like the slower sort of triggers, so like just the noises but a little bit less fast, especially when I'm going to bed. When I'm going to sleep, if I'm watching ASMR during the day to relax, I don't mind a bit of fast and aggressive sometimes. But when I'm trying to sleep, I like quieter sort of, yeah, quieter sounds, or like slower sounds, not as like quick and aggressive. But I do like it thrown in a little bit, so I always try and start slow then build up, but not go too aggressive with it. So, we're now going to move on to the A, B, X and Y buttons. Very clacky. If you're watching and not got your eyes closed, just follow my fingers round as I press the button. It's in a circle. If your eyes are closed, just enjoy the sounds and listen. I always try to talk a little bit for people that don't know. I've been away anyway off the channel again for a couple of weeks, busy. But for people that are new to the channel, I do like to sort of talk. I'll give you a bit of silence for the triggers, but I do like to talk a little bit because I try and make ASMR videos that I like to watch. I don't watch my own videos, but I like videos I like to watch. And I sort of do like the videos where you're having like not quite a conversation, but there's like bits of talking going on, like you're in the room with someone and you're talking. There's like gaps of silence. There's talking, you know what I mean, bits like that. So I always am a big fan of that. Go this way and go. Just flip it around for you. If you can tell me what colour is this one? What colour is the A button? Green, very good. Now what colour is the X button? The X button. Blue, really good. Now the Y button. Yellow, perfect. And finally, we've got the B button. Red, perfect. So, that's all of our with sort of these, but I do like when they're quite clacky, like that. So if we start off with the move on to the old clacking. And now tell me, which way am I pushing the stick? Which direction? So I'm going to start with this one. Up, very good. Now what's next? Perfect, yeah, very good. Very good. And finally, down, perfect. So, that only leaves us with two other buttons on this, two other sets of buttons, and that's the D-pad and the sort of home buttons, the menu buttons, stuff like that. I'm going to leave the D-pad till last on the controller because that's my favourite. So we're going to jump up to these little buttons here, and as you can see, we've got the Xbox home button which presses in. I think that's the menu button, or the pause button, and that's the menu button. And then you've got the button to take screenshots of your game while mid-game. These are quite quiet little buttons, but they're quite nice and soft and gentle. So, as you can hear, this one's a little bit bigger and a little bit softer. Maybe not as loud as the rest. But it's a bigger button, so it's going to be. Personally, in my opinion, I think this one sounds the best out of the four. Just a little bit softer, sort of sound like, but not as loud. So, that leaves us with my favourite, which is the D-pad. And this is just so, like, such a nice clicky noise. And it's just, I haven't used many other controllers, but this is better than the Joy-Cons on the Switch. The Switch Pro controller, to me, I think it's probably better than the next controller, but I'll also let you guys decide because I use this controller more than I use my other controllers, so it might just be a bias thing from me. Which way am I going round the controller now? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Well done. How about now? Perfect. Well done again. So, I think it's about time we moved on to our next controller, and that is the 8-bit Do. It says on the back here. Might be able to read it if I get out to the camera. 8-bit Do. I don't think it's good. I think it's a little bit small for it to focus on. Yeah, it's not quite going to focus on that for me. But it's the 8-bit Do Ultimate 2C wireless controller. You've got a little switch on the back here, which you might be able to see. Yeah, there you go. That gives it the function of, like, I got a Bluetooth dongle that came with it, so you can plug it into the device. This one only works with Windows and Raspberry Pi. I didn't realise, well, it didn't say online. I thought it was the controller that works with the Switch and the iPad, but it doesn't. So, and I didn't return it in time, so I've stuck with it now. But, yeah. To be fair, I might just give it away in a video. Maybe in this video we might decide at the end. I'll let you know. I might pop in at the beginning or the end with giving this away to someone who has a Windows computer that wants it, because apart from making videos, I don't really have any use for it, and it seems a waste of money for me to sit around and have it for just triggers. But if you do like it as a trigger, let me know, and I can keep it for future videos. But we'll see. I don't really think before I make a lot of these videos, and like, I've never done a giveaway, so I've never really thought about it. But it's got a lot of different sounds, as you can hear. But it's sort of a very similar layout to the Xbox controller and the Switch Pro controller. So you're going to get most of the same things. It's just got a few extra buttons on the back. It's got in here, those two. I'm not really sure what they're used for, or what they resemble, but those. And apart from that, it's got one extra button on in comparison to the Xbox controller and stuff. But it's just like a general controller. Not really any difference. It's in. So the same textures. So let me know realistically which you prefer. Oh. last sort of trigger that was the same. So just listen to everything that I do on this one and just let me know in the comments what has the better sounds. And they both have, to be fair, quite different sounds. So that's why I'm using these two controllers, because I think they both got different sounds, but good sounds in different ways. So where do we start? On the last one we started on the triggers. So I think we're going to start on them here. Obviously these have got 2 more triggers, but the sound's very similar. So just the bumpers at the moment, then we've got the triggers to move on to. So, now the triggers. I'd say this is definitely more like thocky if you're talking like keyboards, because that's what I think they sound like. Definitely got that deeper but louder, sort of harder sound. Like you're typing on like a really looked after, good quality keyboard. And there's a lot of good feedback on them as well. They're quite like when you press them down you get quite a lot of pressure, which I like. I like actually having things that I have to push, not just sort of like touch gently, and it works, if you know what I mean. I like the feeling. So that moves us on to these are also ABXY, because obviously that's what the Switch has as well. So just in different order to the Xbox. Obviously the X is down here, the A's here. Oh no, these are the same setup as the Xbox, sorry. It's the Switch has them on different A and B on different sides, I think. But let me know in the comments which controller you prefer, or which controller has better components. So you might think the Xbox controller has a better D-pad, but this has better triggers. So put in the comments for each section of the controller which you prefer, or if you just prefer one of the controller to the other, just put one controller. sticks are joysticks, and these controllers, I believe, are specifically made to not have the I can't remember the correct term for what they're in the joysticks, analog sticks, but they're there to stop you getting like stick drift, like you do on the Switch Joy-Cons. They're made so you don't get the drift that you usually would get on controllers, and the Switch either make you to get new ones or fix them. And then we're going to move on to the as I was doing before, just let me know which way I am pushing the stick. Up, perfect. Well done. Down, really good. Perfect, well done. Perfect. So that leaves us with two more items on this controller, and that's the menu buttons, which we do have different ones on there, as you might be able to see in the light. So we've got the plus and the minuses up here, the home button, which is I think that's the brand logo from what I understand, and then we've got the star and the square on there too. So star and the square. These are a little bit deeper and wider than the previous buttons are there, but as you can see by the light, it's trying to turn itself on. But it will not connect to anything because I have nothing for it to connect to. So that leaves us with one more item, that's the D-pad. And this is going to be very hard for you guys to hear, but it's a lot quieter than the last D-pad. So I'm going to really have to be quiet for once for you guys to listen. But if you listen up, and this is the final item on this controller. So, I think that's it for now on these controllers. So, let me know in the comments, ideally, which one you think was the best out of the two. Obviously, you had the Xbox controller and the final one, which is the 8-bit 2. Let me know in the comments if you had certain favourites on each section of the controller, or if you just had an outright favourite controller, because, like I said, everyone has different sounds and ideas what they like. I like slower sounds, but I don't necessarily think they have to be softer, if that makes sense. But yeah, so leave that in the comments. If you're not subscribed, drop the video a like. I'm reaching, near 600 subscribers now. The next big aim is 1,000, obviously, so hopefully you can get me there at some point if I stay consistent myself. It's up to me as well. But yeah, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you relaxed. Sleep well. And I'll catch you next time.